Hello and welcome to Professional Tutors. We are a team of dedicated and qualified teachers whose main aim is to help you reach your full potential.
Hello, this is another video in the series of science revision support, if you like, library of different videos that we've discussed. I'll set you, as usual, I'll be setting some tasks along the way for you to do. To stop the video and to write out key points which are very important for future learning and for revision of topics covered so far. In this series we've done electricity, the importance of volts, amps, currents in a circuit, the current in a circuit or how it's measured. We've also looked at parallel and series circuits, important that you know between the two of those. We've also looked at magnets and electromagnetism, where you can create an electromagnet, how they're used, we've done that. Then biology, we looked at cells, cell structure, the difference between plant and animal cells, you've got that one as well. That's another one. Today, I'm going to be looking at elements, mixtures and compounds. So I'm going to be doing a chemistry one with you today. So you are building up quite nicely a bank of all these resources. So let's get started. I'm going to share screen with you. And here we have the start of it. Now, as I've mentioned before, these are the key points. Key points are important. So let's have a look at what they are as far as changes of state is concerned. If you can remember what change of state is concerned, it's moving from solid to liquid to gas, or the reverse from gas back to solid. They're all interchangeable changes of state. So if we have a look at a key point here, solids, liquids and gases. If you're asked on an exam question, what are the three states of matter? They are here. And it says here, when a substance changes state, the particle gain or lose energy. All substances are made of particles. And when we heat them or cool them, it changes their state. There we are, and that's what I mean by that. So let's see if there's another point that might be. No, let's go back. What I want you to do with this, these are important key points to write down. Okay, so your title will be changes of state. There are three states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. I could say to you, what happens when a substance changes state? You will answer back, the particles gain or lose energy. Okay, I could then say, and this could carry 2 marks, melting, freezing, boiling, condensing. You've got to be able to say which one. Give an example. For example, ice. Melting ice turns from a solid into a liquid, gains energy. Freezing, liquid into a solid, loses. Boiling, liquid into gas, gains. Condensing, gas into a liquid, lose. Write these key points down. They're very important. It'll probably take you about 5 minutes. Then you want to stop this, get it done, and then we'll move on to this bit. Okay? This is an example. Now, what this is saying here, it says play. Okay? Here we have a solid to a liquid to a gas. If you can see these arrows here, they're reversible. What that means is you can go from that to that, but you can also go from that to that. If you cool a gas down, it will turn into a liquid. If you freeze a liquid, it will turn into a solid. This is changing of state. I'll give you an example. Melting ice. It will, at room temperature, it will turn to liquid. If we boil it, it turns to a gas. But if we cool that gas down, it will then turn into water. I'll give you an example. When you're boiling water in a kitchen and the steam off it, the gas off it, hits the cold surface of the window, it turns into condensation. You are condensing that back into a liquid. So the gas that hits the window turns into a liquid. It's called condensation. But the actual process is called condensing, right? It's condensation. That's what's meant by that. So let's have a look at play. Look what's happening here. The melting point, starting to melt. Heat it, continue to heat it. The liquid is heating, and it reaches boiling point. Now, I will ask you, what is the boiling point of water? You should know. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, where it then starts to, what's the word? Beginning with E, evaporate. It starts to evaporate. This is a very important process, and it's one that you need to make sure that you are familiar with. Solid to liquid to gas. Changes of state. Okay, we're talking the opposite now, right? We're talking changes of state, cooling. Now you could come across these charts here and you've got to comment on them, say what's happening at these particular points. So here's our temperature, right? Dropping, dropping, dropping. Okay, let's have a look. You can see that the temperature is dropping to the point where it will become a solid. This could be the ice situation, where it's gone from a gas, you've cooled it to a liquid, and you're freezing it back into a solid. And that is interchangeable particle theory. Here we have elements, mixtures, and compounds. So you need the title, elements, mixtures, and compounds. Completely different. An element is made of only one type of atom. A compound will be two or more different atoms joined together. And a mixture will be lots of different elements, compounds joined together. Well, not necessarily joined together, a mixture of them, right? So again, write these key points down, please. Elements, compound, and mixtures. An element is a substance which contains only one type of atom. For example, carbon, okay? Compound is a substance which two more atoms are chemically joined together. Write that key point down. A mixture contains two or more elements or compounds that are not chemically joined together. These 3 points are important. They are also possible exam questions, right? I know because I told you this before, I've seen them. Get these down. Stop the video, write these key points down underneath elements, compounds, mixtures. These are your revision notes for your revision guide. Well, to use along with your revision guide. You can end up, and some of you started doing this, making revision cards from these presentations. So your next one, this is giving you an example, right? Chlorine, right? It's just made of one type of atom. There's two together, but here we have different types. Here we have lots of different types. So what do you think we'll say? Should you say that's a mixture? Oh, we're right there. You say that's a compound? We're right there. And you say that's an element? Spot on, we're right there. What you could do, and you are asked to do this, is to write out, draw what an element is, draw what a compound is, draw what a mixture. I would actually advise you to do that because, again, you could be asked to draw them and you need to be able to do it. And it's good to be able to do this because as time goes on, you'll be doing bonding. And bonding involves these little things, join elements together. So that's that one. Separation techniques. You've done some of these with me, right? Separation techniques. Let's have a look at this. Key points again. Write this down. A substance in mixtures can be separated physically. Compounds cannot be broken down physically. What that means is mixtures, for example, sand, water, salt, right? They can be separated. You can separate the components of a mixture, but when it comes to compounds, that requires things like heat, where you change the property of the compound by using heat. We're just concerned with separating mixtures. For example, you have done salt, sand, iron filings. You remove the iron filings with a magnet. You then filtered the sand and then evaporated the water, leaving behind the salt. That is a separation technique. This is called distillation. And this relies on the fact that liquids boil at different temperatures to each other. So if we look, press play. You can see that we have two different coloured mixtures here, the purple and the blue. The blue is being evaporated off, cooled, and gone back into a liquid. This one's been left behind at the moment. Look at this in detail. Okay, see the purple's being left behind, but the blue is evaporating off. That means that these two boil at different temperatures. Which one boils first? This one, the blue one. That could be alcohol, that could be water. because alcohol boils at a lot lower temperature than water does. So you can evaporate the alcohol first. That's how they make things like gin and vodka. When they've mixed it with other things, they evaporate off the alcohol, collect it back again, and then it's pure. That's what distillation does. That's what's happening here. Okay? And that is an example of distillation. I think, without looking at books, you haven't actually drawn this apparatus. And I've shown you how it works. But this is a really good description. Okay? Chromatography, is that familiar to you? Should be, we did it on the science day. Right? This is used to separate liquids again. Watch. Could be food colours. Put it on the pencil line. You use pencil, otherwise the ink will go up the chromatography paper. There we are. Put it into the water, and then it goes up and separates the mixture of colours. Because different colours travel at different speeds up the paper. So what you can see here, there you are. We actually did it as like a forensic experiment, where we identified 4 suspects, and we had like the mock blood samples, and I had the sample on the board, and some had got 3 or 4 colours in, some had only got 2. But we matched the one up to the board and we found out who the suspect was. That is called chromatography. You will revisit this later, and you will do it again later in the lab. Here we are, separating salt, sand. We've done this, play. Important words here, insoluble, it does not dissolve. So sand does not dissolve in water, the water does. Sorry, the salt does in the water. That is soluble. So what's going through into the bottom here is a salty water. What's left behind is the sand. There we are, we've done this. But I added a little bit of spice to this, not spice as in what you put on food. I put the iron filings in, didn't I? Remember? So what can we then do with this water? You're going to tell me, aren't you? You're going to say something, beginning with E. We're going to evaporate it. This is something you can do later on using these keywords. But just be familiar with what these are. Compound, condensing, distillation, element, freezing, gas. Not that concerned with you doing a word search, but what I'm concerned with is you knowing these keywords. What would be a good idea is to put the title here, keywords, write down these, okay? Write these keywords down and know each one. They will be in your revision guide. Right, here's a little bit of a quiz. So, what is the name of the process converting a gas to a liquid? What do you reckon? Try that one. Gas to a liquid. Converting the gas to a liquid. There we go. Next. A substance which only contains one type of atom is called a, try that one, an element. Next, I mentioned that to you earlier. Next. What is the chemical symbol for sodium? Should we try this one? Periodic table. Mixtures can be separated by chromatography or distillation. Mixtures, should we have a look at this? There we are. Remember that one. A substance which contains 2 or more different types of atom chemically joined together is called a element, is it? No, that's one type. Solution? No, that's a dissolved substance. Mixture? No. Shall we try that one? Marvelous. Getting somewhere here. Which property allows us to separate ink from water? Ink from water, both liquids. Should we sort distillation maybe? Different boiling points? Yeah. Here we have sand does not dissolve in water. It is said to be, is it soluble or insoluble? Let's have a look. If something is insoluble, it doesn't dissolve. Next. The element in a compound can be separated by, no. You need a lot of energy and it involves temperature, heat. So there you go. We got them all right. So, let me just go back. Here, keywords. Write this keyword list out. You will be using these from September right the way through to your leaving school. They'll always come up. Compound, what is it? Condensing, what is it? Distillation, what is it? Remember them, write them down. They're in this slide. It tells you exactly what each of these words mean. Then, you're familiar with this? We've done it. You're familiar with the chromatography? We've done it. Have a look at this distillation. You might want to stop it and start it. These key points, right, they're blank to start with. Separation techniques, title, write the key points out. So whenever you see a blank blue like that, and it says key points, write the key points out. I've done about 4 or 5 videos now, and I've said this on each video. So it should be second nature now to you, okay? Be familiar with these elements, compounds, mixtures. You will be called upon to draw them or identify them from pictures. Key points again, write them down. Elements, compounds, mixtures, okay? I showed you that. This is changing of state. You need to be familiar with changing of state. It's interchangeable, okay? Key points again, write them out. This is what we started with, right? This is what we started with. So let's just go to stop share. Okay, right. So today I've introduced to you a video on changes of state, solids, liquids and gases, how they can be changed. We've looked at elements, mixtures and compounds, very important. So you write down all the key points and then there's a keyword list next to the word search. Don't need the word search. We can do that later, or I can upload the video for you to have a go at. But I'm not bothered about the word searches. I want you to write the keywords out and remember what they are, right? You must write out the keywords. And if you don't know them, put it next to it, research it, but read the keyword list. Very important. You'll be using those words right the way through your school, learn. And then, like I said, the key points, and then just summary, and then go over it. So you've got this video on chemistry for you to have to keep. And I'll see you later.